As an author and social media strategist, I receive a lot of questions about social media marketing on a regular basis from other authors and other creatives. And today I thought I would just sit down and answer the most common questions that I get about social media marketing in case you also have the same questions. Bear with me as I am moving houses and have a new setup coming soon. But for now, we're going to hang out in front of my little window here and answer some questions. So we're going to dive into some questions like, how often should you post? When is it time to start a new account and just start over from scratch? What platform should I focus on? How many platforms should I actually be using to promote my products? And more. So let's dive straight into question one. Let's start off with the basics of what platforms should I be using and how many platforms should I be on? If you haven't met me yet, the foundation of what I teach is that marketing should be simple. It shouldn't take up all of our time. And I'm really passionate about mental health, so it also shouldn't be stressful or overwhelming. Of course, there are times where it is going to be, especially as you are learning. That is why I recommend 1 to 2 social media platforms that you focus on. You can always expand and do more, but I find that the authors, the creatives that start everywhere have a really hard time focusing, learning what works best for one platform because this will vary across platforms. And suddenly you feel like you are on this rat race of learning all these different platforms, making all this different content that works for all these different platforms, and not really focusing on any one of them and seeing results from any one of them. This goes for any marketing tactic that you try because, of course, there are other methods than social media marketing. But I really recommend that you pick one platform, one that you're interested in, and that you try that for a while before you expand to more platforms. I've been using social media for over a decade and using it to promote my books as an author for 7 or 8 years now, and I still only use 2 platforms as my primary methods of marketing. Could I be using 5 or 6? Sure. But I love that it doesn't take me a lot of time now because I know what works and I stick to that. I have my routine down and I see results from those 2 platforms. If I didn't, I would have moved on to something else by now. So keep that in mind as you're planning your marketing strategy, that you are not pulling yourself in too many directions and leaving yourself with less time to do the creative work that you love as well. When it comes to which platforms you should be using though, there are a few that I love. I use Instagram still on a regular basis, and I really enjoy TikTok and the results that I get from TikTok. I have step-by-step guides for both of those platforms that I'll link in the description if you are interested in learning more about those. But I also think that it's up to you and the mediums that you prefer, the platforms that you like, and where your audience is as well. I did film a video last year on the platforms that I recommend for authors and which platforms I do tend to recommend. But it also depends on the demographics of each platform and who your audience is. So I'll link that video for you up here so you can check it out as well. Overall, it's important to try and stick to something for at least a few months, really, I think a minimum of 6 months, doing something consistently to see if it really does move the needle in your business and increase your sales or your engagement or your email list. So give something a solid try before you decide to move on. But at the same time, if you absolutely are dreading marketing on a certain platform, you don't like it, you never do it because you don't like it, then yeah, it's better to switch gears and focus on something that you do enjoy instead. On that same note, when is it time to actually give up on a platform that you're using or give up on your account and start fresh? I've had a couple members of the Creatives Content Club recently, which is the membership that I run for creatives and marketing, and asked that, hey, I started off on this account. It used to be about a different topic. And then whenever I became an author, or I started making these products, I switched gears to this different focus and kept the same account, but now my engagement is very low. If this applies to you as well, this is going to be common because the algorithm has gotten to know this topic that you've been posting about and attracting the right audience for that topic. And now you're switching gears, which causes confusion to the many different algorithms of Instagram or these other platforms that you might be using. So in this case, it often is better to start a fresh account with a fresh audience that didn't know you for something different and is now confused because you're posting about something else entirely, and they're probably not going to be all interested in that new topic. what I would do is start a new account and encourage people of that old account to come follow you there if they are interested in that type of content. That way you aren't losing everybody, because some will come over, but you're only getting the ones who are actually interested in this new niche or genre or topic that you are speaking of on this account. When it comes to when you should actually give up on a platform, if you realize that you are posting and just not getting views, I wanted to talk about that because that's something that I get asked about a lot. And sometimes it might feel like you are failing, like you're not getting the results you want, which is why I spoke about making sure you actually are sticking around and sticking to it for a while before you quit. But there are cases where a platform might flag you for an unknown reason, or maybe you accidentally said something that was against their guidelines and you get flagged, and it's kind of hard to bring that back and get those views back or that engagement back. So with things like TikTok, if you are seeing very low views, I'm talking like in the teens or the 20s or less than 100 views on a lot of your videos, and it's been that way for a long time, I would consider starting a new account in that case. Similarly, if you had an account where you could switch topics and the engagement's really down, I would start fresh as well. In a similar regard, I also get the question, should I keep this personal account and switch it over to my branded account for my creative business? I've said yes to some clients and I've said no to other clients. The times that I've said yes is when they've already had a strong foundation of content that is similar to what they'll be posting as their brand anyway. For example, if you are a comedian or comedy writer and you're already posting funny content, but it's really for your friends and family, then it's still aligned with your current audience or the audience you're trying to reach. And in that case, it would be okay. But a lot of times personal accounts are photos of family and friends and things that from a branding perspective, your audience might not necessarily want to follow you for. They want to see what you've determined is relatable to that particular niche. Updates about your process, trending content or funny content or relatable content around your audience's problems and situations. So a lot of the time, a personal account isn't going to be something that people will want to follow because it's photos of your personal friends and family, and that wouldn't really be what your audience is looking for. In some situations, it is, like children's authors or people who teach about like parenting and they have photos of their kids and stories about their kids and parenting, then of course that's going to be very aligned to your audience. So it's up to you to determine that. The other mindset shift that I find is difficult when someone has a personal account and then just starts using that as their branded account is that they don't feel sometimes as comfortable promoting themselves when they know that their friends and family are watching closely on that account and seeing their posts. So it can be helpful to start fresh just to get that clean slate. This is me, this is my business, and I'm going to be promoting myself and my work on this page. If you are enjoying this Q&A so far, I wanted to let you know that every single month in the Creatives Content Club, I go live and answer dozens and dozens of questions just like this, more in depth and more specific to each of my members who ask their questions. It's a really hands-on membership and I'd love to see you inside. I will link the waitlist in the description. You get not only the monthly live Q&A, but a group where you can ask me questions anytime in our private Facebook group. Plus you get a monthly content plan with templates and post ideas and a full social media course inside as well. It is really an all-in-one marketing membership if you are a creative looking to sell more of your products on social media, and I would love to see you inside. So something that I teach inside the Creatives Content Club is my 3-pillar method for posting on social media. But when it comes to actually the number of times you should post on social media, there's not one clear answer that works for everybody. It depends on your bandwidth, your ability to create content each week and post. There are people who love to post every single day. They post once a day, they show up on stories, they're very engaged and active with their audience. And there's people who like to post a couple times a week and that works for them and that keeps them consistent. They're showing up in front of their audience and continuing to engage that community, which is great. Typically what I see is that if you're posting more often, your growth is likely going to be faster and you'll likely reach more people, but it doesn't always work that way because the quality of your posts is also so important as well. So there is no right answer for this one. I think that you should start off less than what you'd like to work up to If you start off strong daily or posting twice a day even and can't keep up with it, it's not terrible for the algorithm, but a consistent long-term strategy is best. So if you can start off with 2 to 3 posts a week and then say, okay, actually I do have more time to do more, I'll move it up to 4 to 5, that's great. And that's better than going from 2 times a day to like 2 times a week, right? The only thing I will say about this is around launch periods, definitely increase the number of times you're posting. If you are only posting 2 or 3 times a week, around launch, I do like to be more consistent, really showing up daily, especially in things like Instagram stories, where I can be really informal and engage with my audience and my community and get them involved with the launch. Okay, so the next question is going to be about repurposing content, because I love repurposing. I love saving time, but there are some wrong and right ways to do it. So the first thing you should be aware of is if you are posting a video on TikTok, for example, and you've saved that video to your phone that has that TikTok watermark on it and go to post it to other platforms, they're not going to like that very much. Instagram doesn't want you to post non-original content that's already been shared on TikTok. Same with YouTube Shorts, and vice versa as well. If you download something from Instagram Reels and post it to TikTok with the Instagram watermark on it. So try to start with a clean post. I like to film my content right from my camera gallery, so I always have the original to come back to. But TikTok also now has the ability to download a video from the TikTok app before you post it. It's a little downward arrow, the standard download button, on the same page where you add music and text and all of that. Download it to your phone. It won't have the watermark on it, and then you can post it to any other platform that you would like without that watermark on it. Now, the one thing to be aware with repurposing is that these platforms like us to use their built-in features. So Instagram wants you to use their music library that they have licensed music for and add text within their app because the algorithm can read the text that's been added in the app. Same with TikTok. So that's why I like to have the original video or the original content in my gallery, go onto TikTok, upload the video, add my text there, add my music from their music library and post, and do the same for Instagram. It is an extra step, but I find that it really does help the algorithm determine who my video is right for. It helps them know that it is original content, and it's an extra step, but I'm still repurposing the main video, so it's still saving me time. There are lots of different ways to repurpose, so if that works great for you, then that's great. If there's another method that you've been using that works well for you, that's great as well. The final question I'm going to ask today is a simple one. For TikTok, should you use the mobile app or the desktop app? I get asked this a lot by people who don't really want to be on their phone and use the desktop version. However, the mobile version does have a lot more features built in. And so you'll find if you, for example, use my step-by-step guide to TikTok, that I do recommend the mobile app, and the screenshots in there are going to be for the mobile app. The layout is a little bit different on desktop. And like I said, there just aren't as many things you can do from desktop. It is primarily a phone app, so that's what I recommend you use if you are looking to use my guide specifically for TikTok as well. That is all the questions I'm going to answer today. I hope that this was helpful for you to hear some perspectives on social media marketing. If you have follow-up questions, feel free to share them in the comments below. And be sure to get on the waitlist for the Creatives Content Club so that you can always get your questions answered by me every single week. I will see you in the next video. Have a great week. Bye.